What is up there, Workforce? Chris here with Work to Game, and we've been talking a little bit about macros and UI icons lately, and one of the things that you may want to do is you may want to actually nest something inside a single button. So like down here on the bottom right, you see that I have this whole little bar dedicated to switching classes. I've made a guide on it. I know there's other methods to do it. And so one of those other methods is to actually pick one icon to pop up something to switch your classes, maybe just to your DPS or just to your tanks or just to your healers, or even just one that pops it up in general. And one of the areas that I like to use that technique that I really hadn't set up until now is I always wish that I had some way to organize my consumables. When I switched to like my gatherers and stuff, I was kind of putting it out here on these little areas down in the bottom right, but that's not super convenient, especially when you talk about like, I want a really clean UI. Maybe at some point I end up using those for something else, and this bar really isn't meant for that. And so there's other bars that I'm not using, like action bar 10, which is where I have this. And so I wanted to show a little bit how to set this up. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go and you're going to need to go to HUD layout, and you're going to need set action bar up wherever you want this to appear. And so I went into settings, I made it nice and big, and I put it right here in the middle of the screen, and I left it off. If I right click it on, right click it again, that's off. Purple means it's off, and so that means it's not displayed. You can also see if an action bar is on or off in your character configuration under the hotbar tab. If I scroll down, action bar 10 is off and then on again. So let's leave that off. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go into your macros menu. I'm putting this in shared macros because I want it to be something that I share across all my characters. And so I've put it down here in the bottom right, and I've set it for rare use items. And so if I open that up, I do M icon, which is the same as up here where we did macro icon. It's just less typing. And I've done surprised emote. And so that's just what I picked. You can pick any emote, you can pick any item by putting item after it. And so that allows you to, just like up here where we said gear set, it said 8 and then gear set, what you label it is you say what it is and then what kind it is. So I'm going to do the surprised emote just because I think it's fun. And then the next thing we're going to do is slash hotbar display 10. So we're going to be turning on hotbar display 10 because right now it's off. And then we're going to wait 10 seconds and we're going to toggle it again. And then I've put that down here where I used to put my consumable because I now am starting to have classes that have multiple consumables. And so having one button really doesn't make sense to that. And I don't necessarily want to give up the keybind. It's not something I urgently call out in combat. And so I figure what I'll do instead is I'll just put it there. And so I can now say Shift T for where I bind my consumables, and for 10 seconds this is going to pop up right in the middle of my screen. I can absolutely click on these things if I want to say eat an oyster, and I'll eat an oyster, and then after 10 seconds, boom, it disappears just like that. So I hope this really helps. I hope this shows like a pretty unlimited number of possibilities here as we explore deeper and deeper into macros and UI customization. This is not something that's horribly complex on its own, but I know it can be overwhelming when you first get in there because macroing, it kind of feels like you have this weird like programming language and you're like, well, I don't really know how to do any of that stuff. So we're going to just stick with really simple macros. We'll get more advanced as we go. And this is something that would allow you to, if instead of doing these things where you had all the classes, you could just have a class change button and you would open that up, and then on that bar, it would have all these different class icons that you could switch to, and then after 10 seconds, it disappears. Within those, you can also have there be different things like where, you know, within this action bar, this macro triggers other hotbars to toggle display. So you could have multiple hotbars pop up. I just have it set to turn on hotbar 10, but you could easily have it turn on hotbar 10, 9, and 8, and then I'd wait 10 seconds or wait 5 seconds or wait 20 seconds. It doesn't really matter. And then you could have it toggle those off again. And so it's just something that's kind of cool. It's kind of a neat little trick on how to make one button a lot bigger than just one button. And so now I can do things like I used to have cordials bound. Well, on my battle classes, that didn't make sense. So now I'm going to have Shift W. I'm going to gain that back. And so maybe I can make Shift W like my permanent potion button. And I can have potions available on all of my buttons. I have Gish All Greens to summon my Chocobo out on my bar. Well, maybe that doesn't have to be on a bar. Maybe I can have that nested inside something else, and we can go put the greens in here, because how often do you really have to get your Chocobo out urgently? And even in combat, this will still work. I could still open this up and click this. It's not like over my character where I would not be able to like move around if I call this out. It's not like I can't see what I'm doing. I can easily say, oh yeah, I need to eat real quick on, you know, and then there we go. off to the races. So it's just something that I thought might help. My name is Chris with Work to Game. If you have any other questions, any other UI tips you want, anything else that you've seen before that you'd like explained to you in a video guide, let me know. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time.
Hey, it's me. Thanks so much for watching this video. You should click over here to see more videos just like it, or you should click down here to check out our recent vlog. But you can also click somewhere down here below to hit the subscribe button, as well as check out our other info. Again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.